My hand shook champagne splashing in my glass at the engagement party. Ryan's smirk cut deep as his mother Patricia labeled me a leech. Her floral perfume choked the air, glasses clinking around me. "You're after his fortune," she hissed, her voice sharp as glass. I'd risen from Tacoma's diner shifts, not chasing wealth. Mom's grease-stained hands built my future, not this shame. Ryan's cedar jacket, once my haven, now smelled of deceit. He'd vowed under starlight, "You're my equal, Claire." His silence tonight roared louder than the crowd's chatter. The emerald ring, cold and heavy, clung to my finger. I slipped it off, set it by his plate, metal ringing. My heels clicked on hardwood, each step a quiet rebellion. Seattle's rain cooled my cheeks as I stepped outside. "She's overreacting," Ryan called, his voice faint in the drizzle. The party's glow faded, leaving me a stranger in my life. I felt erased, a ghost among their glittering smiles. My car's dashboard glowed, its hum steadying my racing heart. I drove, the ring's weight gone, pain lingering like mist. Mom's thrift store mugs flashed in my mind, her strength guiding me. Chandelier's light had mocked my place in their world. Had I misread Ryan's love, his family's polished warmth? My fingers gripped the wheel, city lights blurring through tears. I wasn't their pawn, my path was mine to choose. Patricia's sneer echoed. "You'll never be one of us." I didn't want their world, not now, not ever. Rain tapped my windshield, a rhythm of newfound resolve. My heart pounded, each beat forging a way forward. I'd built my life from nothing. I could do it again. Have you ever walked away from a betrayal this raw? If your partner's family shamed you, would you stay or leave? Where are you listening from? Share your story below. Subscribe to EN Reddit Story for more real stories of justice, healing, and empowerment. Sunday mornings meant coffee and thrift store mugs. Ryan's laugh warming my Tacoma studio. I stirred cream slowly, the kitchen clock ticking like a heartbeat. His cedar-scented jacket hung over my chair, soft, familiar, comforting. I was Claire, 39, a marketing manager who fought for everything. My mother's diner shifts, hands stained with grease, built my future. Ryan, a tech executive, charmed me at a 2018 charity auction. His warm smile bidding on art pulled me into his world. "You're special," he said, his voice steady, eyes locked on mine. Our first date was coffee at a Seattle cafe, rain on windows. His cedar jacket brushed my arm, its scent easing my nerves. I shared Mom's late nights, my Tacoma roots, my quiet pride. He listened, his hand grazing mine over the wooden table. My studio with mismatched mugs felt whole enough for us. I believed his promises of a future we'd shape together. His world of galas and wealth loomed, but I trusted him. Did I ignore the cracks just to hold onto that dream? I'd lie awake replaying his words, my heart clinging to hope. Mom's tired eyes after shifts taught me to keep going. I wanted Ryan to see me, not just my modest roots. His laugh once felt like home, now it echoed differently. The coffee's warmth faded in my mug like our mornings. I pushed doubts down, craving a place in his life. Was I enough for his world, or just a fleeting guest? I sipped slowly, the mug's chip rough against my thumb. My office desk held client files, a chipped mug my resolve. I'd crafted campaigns, won awards, earned every hard-won step. Ryan's condo, all glass and steel, felt cold like a museum. "Quit your job," he'd say, kissing my forehead too lightly. His words sounded kind, but they gnawed at my independence. At galas he'd steer me aside, letting colleagues take the spotlight. My dresses felt plain next to their glittering evening gowns. My smile hid the ache of feeling like an outsider. Patricia, his mother, invited me to tea at her waterfront estate. Her floral perfume choked the air, her teacup clinking sharply. "Your roots are quaint," she said, her smile cold, probing. I gripped my cup, its warmth fading my throat, tightening fast. She asked about my savings, my family, my intentions with Ryan. I spoke of my job, my love for him, deflecting her gaze. Her eyes narrowed like I was a flaw in her perfect plan. I left her words clinging like Seattle's heavy damp mist. I stared at my apartment's walls, Mom's old apron in my mind. Had I worked so hard just to be judged like this? Ryan's condo visits left me feeling small, out of place. His suggestions to slow down felt like chains, not care. I'd built my career on grit. Could I let it go? The rain outside my window tapped, mirroring my restless heart. Was I losing myself to fit into his polished world? I clutched my mug, its weight, grounding my swirling thoughts. I'd walk to work, rain soaking my coat, my mind racing. Mom's voice echoed. "You're enough, Claire, always enough." But Patricia's words made me question my place, my worth. Ryan's touch, once warm, now felt like a polite obligation. I'd scroll through emails, my laptop's hum a steady anchor. Each gala left me quieter, my voice fading in his crowd. Was I shrinking to fit a life that wasn't mine? I set my mug down, its chip a reminder of home. One night his phone buzzed at midnight, its screen glowing brightly. A message flashed: prenup draft ready. My stomach sank hard. The room grew still, the air heavy with sudden dread. I stared at my thrift store mug, cold on the nightstand. Ryan slept, his breathing even unaware of my racing pulse. Had he always planned to shield his world from me? Those words burned, each one a crack in my trust. Rain tapped my window, a rhythm urging me to wake. I lay there, my heart pounding, sleep impossible now. Mom's strength, her calloused hands, had carried me through worse. Ryan's secrecy, Patricia's disdain, shook the ground beneath me. I'd built my life on love, grit, and hard-won trust. Was I naive to ignore the signs for so long? The mug's chip felt sharp, a tether to my roots. Sunday mornings lost their warmth, the coffee bitter now. I sipped, staring at the rain, my resolve slowly forming. The text haunted me, a shadow over our shared moments. I replayed our hikes, his promises now hollow in my mind. His jacket hung unused, its cedar scent fading fast. I'd trusted him to see me, not just my past. Was this the life I'd fought for, or someone else's? My fingers traced the mug, grounding me in truth. If you saw that text, would you dig deeper or let it go? The text on Ryan's phone burned into my soul. Prenup draft ready, it said, stealing my breath away. Rain pounded my Tacoma apartment's windows, relentless and heavy. I sat at my kitchen table, coffee cold in my thrift store mug. My heart raced, Patricia's sneer from the engagement party echoing. Was I just a temporary piece in their wealthy puzzle? Ryan's cedar jacket hung by the door, its scent now sour. I hadn't confronted him, but silence felt like giving up. I traced the mug's chip, Mom's strength whispering to me. Her diner chef's hands, greasy, taught me to fight, not fold. Doubt clawed at my chest, sharp as Patricia's floral perfume. Ryan slept in my bed, his phone locked, hiding secrets. I sipped the coffee, its bitterness matching my swirling thoughts. Had he ever truly seen me as his equal? The rain's rhythm pulsed, urging me to seek answers. Was I betraying myself by staying quiet this long? I stared at the jacket, once a symbol of his warmth. Mom's tired eyes after late shifts flashed in my mind. I'd built my life on grit. Could I let it crumble? My fingers trembled, the mug's weight grounding my fear. Ryan's promises under starlight felt like distant lies now. I wanted to scream, but the rain spoke for me. Was I holding on to a love that was already slipping? I set the mug down, resolve hardening in my chest. My office felt like a cage, not the refuge it once was. Client files piled high, my chipped mug, a faint comfort. I'd built this career on sweat, but it felt fragile now. Ryan's texts grew sparse, his excuses sharp, cutting deep. It's just work, he'd said, his eyes dodging mine. I noticed a new covert, silk expensive, not from me. My laptop hummed, but my mind drifted to his secrets. Was I paranoid, or was the truth slipping away? I checked our bank app, my stomach twisting in knots. The password had changed, locking me out without explanation. Rain streaked the office window, Seattle's gray sky closing in. I called Ryan, his voice curt. It's for security, Claire. His words rang hollow like clinking glasses at his galas. I hung up my fingers, tracing the mug's rough edge. Mom's voice echoed, "You're enough, Claire, always enough." My heart pounded, urging me to dig deeper. I waited until Ryan showered, his phone left on the counter. A message from Patricia glowed, Boston plans moving forward. My breath caught the screen's light cold against my skin. Boston. He'd never mentioned a move, not once. The shower's hum faded, I locked the phone quickly. My office chair creaked, anchoring me in the moment. Was he building a life that erased me completely? I saved the screenshot, my first piece of evidence. I sat at my desk, the rains patter a restless drum. Mom's apron folded in my memory, steadied my resolve. I'd fought for my place. I wouldn't let it vanish. The covert silk felt like a betrayal in itself. My fingers shook, saving the screenshot to my email. Was I ready to face what this truth might mean? The office's fluorescent hum felt louder, more accusing. I gripped my mug, its chip a tether to my strength. At a gala, I stood alone, Ryan laughing across the room. His colleagues' glittering dresses made mine feel like a shadow. Patricia whispered to a guest, her eyes flicking toward me. I clutched my clutch, its leather cool, my throat tight. I'd once felt like his partner, now I was invisible. The chandelier's light burned, exposing my fading place. Was I losing him to their wealth, their expectations? My heart sank heavy as the rain outside the venue. Back home, my apartment felt smaller, the walls pressing in. I stared at Mom's old apron hanging by the stove. Her strength had carried me through doubt, through pain. Ryan's distance, Patricia's disdain left me unmoored, drifting. I checked his phone again, finding texts about family assets. The screen's glow felt harsh, cold in the dark. Was I fighting for a love already lost to me? I sat on my couch, the rain's rhythm my only companion. The texts haunted me, each word a splinter in my trust. I replayed our hikes, his promises now hollow echoes. Mom's calloused hands, her diner apron grounded my soul. I'd built my life on resilience. I could do it again. But the gala's laughter, Patricia's glances cut deeper now. My fingers traced the clutch, its leather worn but mine. If you found proof like this, would you confront or keep searching? Patricia's email glowed on my laptop, each word a sharp blade. Claire's not family material, it read, crushing my fragile hope. Rain lashed my Tacoma apartment's windows, a relentless, angry roar. I sat at my kitchen table, coffee cold in my thrift store mug. The emerald ring now in a drawer felt like a cruel lie. Had Ryan always seen me as less, just like his mother? His cedar jacket hung by the door, its scent bitter, mocking. My heart pounded, Patricia's sneer from the party echoing painfully. I reread the email, my chest tight with betrayal's weight. Boston's better for Ryan, she wrote, erasing me entirely. My fingers shook, hovering over the reply, then froze. Mom's diner apron flashed in my mind, her strength my anchor. I'd clawed my way up. I wouldn't be dismissed now. The rain's fury matched my anger, urging me to act. Was I foolish to trust Ryan's starlit vows of love? I closed the laptop, its hum silenced my resolve, hardening. I paced my apartment, floorboards creaking under my restless steps. Ryan's texts about family assets burned in my memory. I'd saved every screenshot, each one a shard of truth. The coffee's bitterness lingered, mirroring my growing dread. Mom's voice whispered, "You're enough, Claire, always enough." I wanted to confront him, but fear gripped me tight. Could I face the man I'd loved so deeply, so blindly? My hands clutched the mug, its chip grounding my turmoil. I drove to Ryan's condo, Seattle city lights blurring through rain. His glass coffee table reflected my face, pale eyes hollow. Wilting roses he'd sent sat on the counter, petals brittle. I faced him, voice steady. I saw Patricia's email, Ryan. His eyes flickered, the cedar scent of his jacket faint. "It's not what you think," he said, his tone too smooth. My stomach twisted, his words empty as gala chatter. Was this the man who'd promised me an equal future? I held up my phone, the Boston email glaring brightly. "Why hide this from me?" I asked, my voice trembling. He shrugged. "It's just an idea, Claire, for our future." His lie cut deeper than Patricia's venomous party toast. The rose's faint smell mixed with my rising anger. I'd built dreams on his words, now crumbling to dust. Was I just a pawn in their carefully crafted plans? I stood taller, his condo's sleekness no longer daunting. He leaned back, his new covert glinting under the chandelier. "It's to protect us," he said, avoiding my steady gaze. Protect us, or shield his wealth from me entirely. My fingers brushed my empty ring finger, weightless now. The city's hum outside echoed my heart's frantic beat. I'd given him my trust, he'd planned to sideline me. Mom's resilience burned in me, urging me to fight. I stared at him, voice low. You chose them over me. Back home, the rain's patter felt like my unshed tears. I sat on my couch, Mom's apron folded in my lap. Her strength had carried me through years of relentless struggle. Ryan's betrayal stung sharper than Patricia's cruel, pointed words. I opened my laptop, finding more texts about asset protection. The screen's cold glow exposed his calculated, hidden plans. Was our love just a story I'd told myself alone? I clutched the apron, its worn fabric, steadying my heart. Flashback to our first date, his cedar jacket around me. His laugh had warmed me, his promises felt so real. Now those moments were shadows fading in truth's light. The roses' wilted petals scattered brittle on my counter. I'd ignored the signs, desperate to believe in us. My heart ached, each beat heavy with betrayal's weight. Could I walk away from a love that felt so hollow? I stared at the rain, resolve forming in the quiet. The texts haunted me, each word a splinter in trust. Mom's calloused hands, her apron grounded my breaking soul. I'd fought for my place. I wouldn't let it vanish. The condo's lights had mocked me, but I was enough. My fingers traced the mug, its chip a reminder of home. Was I strong enough to end this chapter for good? If you saw their lies exposed, would you confront or walk away? Ryan's words, I chose them, shattered my fragile world. I sat in my Tacoma apartment, rain pounding the windows. The thrift store mug held coffee, cold and bitter now. His betrayal stung deeper than Patricia's venomous party toast. I felt like nothing, a shadow erased from my own life. Mom's diner apron hung by the stove, heavy with memory. The emerald ring hidden in a drawer mocked my trust. Was I a fool to believe in our starlit dreams? I stared at the apron, Mom's strength, a fading echo. Her late-night shifts had built me, now I was crumbling. The rain's roar mirrored my endless aching despair. Ryan's roses wilted on my counter, their scent sour stale. I'd poured my heart into him only to be discarded. My chest tightened, each breath a battle against tears. Was I worth anything without his love, their approval? I gripped the mug, its chip cutting into my palm. I sank onto my couch, the room, dim walls closing in. Mom's tired eyes after shifts haunted me, her resilience distant. I'd fought so hard to rise, to be someone worthy. Now I questioned every choice, every hope I'd held. The rain's relentless drumbeat drowned out my thoughts. I wanted to vanish, to escape this crushing pain. Could I ever rebuild from this hollow, broken place? My fingers traced the mug, seeking a spark of strength. My office felt alien, client files a blur of meaningless ink. The chipped mug on my desk was my only tether. I'd built this career, but it felt empty, pointless now. Patricia's email, Claire's not family material, seared my mind. I saw Ryan smirk, his silence at that humiliating party. Rain streaked the office window, Seattle's gray sky suffocating. Had I been blind, ignoring his distance, their cruel disdain? My laptop's glow felt cold, reflecting my inner void. I drove home, Seattle's streets slick, lights blurred by rain. Mom's voice echoed faintly. You're enough, Claire, always enough. But doubt not at me, sharper than any blade. The roses' wilted petals lay scattered, brittle, forgotten. I'd clung to his love, ignoring the cracks for years. My heart felt like glass fractured, ready to shatter completely. Could I find my worth if I let him go? I gripped the wheel knuckles, white fear choking me. I sat in my car, rain tapping the roof, relentless. Mom's calloused hands, her apron lived in my memory. I'd worked tirelessly to prove I was more than my roots. Ryan's betrayal made me doubt every step I'd taken. The dashboard's faint glow illuminated my trembling hands. I felt like I was drowning in my own life. Was fighting worth it, or should I just surrender? I closed my eyes, Mom's strength, a whisper in the dark. Rachel's knock broke the silence, soft against my door. She brought wine, its sharp scent cutting through my fog. You're enough, she said, her voice steady, eyes fierce. She opened my sketchbooks, their crinkled pages holding old dreams. I'd drawn bold lines, once visions of a fearless future. The rain outside softened a murmur against my windows. Could I find that Claire again buried beneath this pain? Rachel's words kindled a fragile spark in my heart. I opened my laptop, Ryan's texts glaring in the dark. His asset protection plans were a final cold betrayal. Patricia's email offered a foundation job to silence me. I deleted it, my finger firm, heart racing with defiance. Mom's apron lay beside me, its fabric worn but strong. I wasn't their pawn. I could carve my own path. When you lose everything, do you still fight for yourself? If you hit rock bottom, would you rise or walk away? I deleted Patricia's email, my heart racing with defiance. Rain tapped my Tacoma apartment's windows, a steady urging pulse. The thrift store mug held warm coffee, its scent grounding me. Ryan's betrayal had shattered me, but I wasn't finished fighting. Mom's diner apron hung by the stove, its strength mine now. I wasn't their pawn. I'd forged my own path forward. The wilted roses on my counter gave off a faint sour smell. I'd shed Ryan's lies to reclaim my own truth. I sat at my kitchen table, laptop humming in the silence. Rachel's words echoed, "You're enough, Claire, always enough." My sketchbooks dusted off, lay open, their bold lines inspiring. The rain's soft patter felt like a whisper of courage. I'd built my life from nothing. I could rebuild stronger. Patricia's sneer, Ryan's smirk fueled my quiet determination. Was I ready to escape their gilded, suffocating cage? I sipped my coffee, its warmth steadying my trembling hands. I stared at Mom's apron, her calloused hands in my memory. Her late-night shifts had taught me to rise, not bend. Ryan's texts about asset protection hardened my resolve further. I saved every screenshot, each one a brick in my defense. The mug's chip felt sharp, a tether to my roots. I felt alone, but that solitude sparked a fierce clarity. Could I turn this pain into a new, unshackled life? I closed my laptop, the rain's rhythm my new heartbeat. My office became my sanctuary, client files, a background hum. The chipped mug on my desk held coffee, bitter but steady. I applied for a director role, my resume sharp, confident. Ryan's texts grew curt, his calls brief, laced with impatience. I checked his phone when he left it, heart pounding hard. A message from Patricia read, "Secure assets before Boston." The screen's glow was harsh, exposing their calculated plans. Was I strong enough to outmaneuver their family's schemes? I met a lawyer, her office smelling of leather and ink. Rain streaked her window, Seattle's gray sky, ever-present heavy. "Protect yourself," she said, her voice calm, notes scribbling. I handed over screenshots, my hands steady, eyes unwavering. The lawyer's pen scratched each word, a step toward freedom. Mom's apron flashed in my mind, her resilience guiding me. Could I reclaim my life without burning bridges publicly? I left the rain's cool touch soothing my burning resolve. I worked late, my laptop's hum, a loyal, constant companion. I dug into Ryan's family firm, their wealth, their moves. Each click revealed more accounts, hidden plans I wasn't part of. The office's fluorescent lights buzzed, but I felt alive, focused. I saved every detail, building a fortress of truth. The coffee's scent faded, but my purpose never wavered. Was this my quiet justice, or just a survival instinct? I leaned back, the mug's weight anchoring my fierce determination. I reviewed my director application, each word a declaration. Mom's voice whispered, "You've earned this. Claire, claim it." Ryan's world had tried to shrink me, but I refused. The rain outside my office window fell in steady sheets. I felt isolated, but that solitude fueled my inner fire. I'd fought for my place. I wouldn't let it slip. Could I rise without dragging their secrets into the light? I sipped my coffee, its bitterness now a badge of strength. Rachel invited me to her loft, her easel bright with paint. Her coffee's rich aroma mingled with the rain's damp scent. "You're unstoppable," she said, flipping through my old sketchbooks. I smiled, the first real one in weeks, fragile but honest. The rain outside softened a murmur against her windows. I felt alone, but Rachel's faith in me burned brightly. Could I build a legacy that was entirely my own? I sipped her coffee, its warmth kindling my quiet courage. Back home, I stood by my window, rain tracing the glass. Mom's apron hung nearby, a symbol of enduring strength. I'd stopped answering Ryan's calls, his roses piling ignored. My director application advanced, a beacon of new hope. The laptop's glow lit my face, emails brimming with promise. I wasn't fleeing, I was choosing myself, my future. Would you go public with their betrayal or quietly rebuild what's given you strength to rise again? Share below. My new office chair felt like a throne steady beneath me. Rain powdered my Seattle office window, a soft, persistent drum. The chipped mug on my desk held coffee, its scent sharp grounding. I'd earned the director role, my nameplate a badge of triumph. Ryan's betrayal had nearly broken me, but I stood taller now. Mom's diner apron etched in memory fueled my quiet strength. The wilted roses, long discarded, no longer haunted my space. I was done being their pawn. This was my life to shape. I opened my laptop, its hum, a constant loyal companion. Client emails poured in, each one affirming my hard-won place. I'd built this career on grit. No one could take it. Patricia's cruel email, now deleted, lingered in my mind. Her words, "Claire's not family material," had lost their sting. The rain's rhythm wrapped around me, soothing my restless heart. Was I truly ready to cut ties with Ryan's world? I sipped my coffee, its warmth anchoring my steady resolve. I reviewed my savings numbers, glowing on the screen. Mom's late-night shifts taught me to plan, to endure. I'd untangled my accounts, free from Ryan's hidden schemes. His texts about asset protection were now mere evidence. The mug's chip felt rough, a reminder of my roots. A quiet power surged within, like the rain's unyielding fall. Could I walk away without glancing back at their lies? I leaned back, my office a fortress of my own making. I stared at my nameplate, its shine reflecting my journey. Mom's tired eyes after shifts flashed in my thoughts. I'd fought for this role for myself against their doubts. Ryan's smirk at the party felt like a distant memory. The coffee's bitterness faded, replaced by my growing strength. I wasn't running, I was claiming what was rightfully mine. Was this the justice I'd been seeking all along? My heartbeat steady, aligned with the rain's soft cadence. I met Rachel at a cafe, espresso's rich scent enveloping us. Rain streaked the windows, Seattle's gray sky soft, familiar. "You're unstoppable," she said, her eyes bright with admiration. I outlined my plans: sever Ryan, build my own legacy. My sketchbooks, revived, held dreams I'd reclaim with fierceness. The cafe's wooden table felt solid, grounding my bold vision. Was this my quiet justice, or simply choosing myself? I sipped my latte, its foam warm against my lips. I visited my lawyer again, her office calm, leather-scented. Rain traced her window, a quiet echo of my resolve. "Here's everything," I said, handing over screenshots, emails. She nodded, her pen scratching, crafting my path to freedom. Mom's apron flashed in my mind, her endurance my guide. I'd secure my future untethered from their controlling wealth. Could I close this chapter without a public reckoning? I left the rain's cool touch easing my burning focus. I worked late, my laptop's hum, a steady, loyal presence. I mentored a young woman, her eager eyes mirroring my past. My office's fluorescent lights buzzed alive with my purpose. I shared my climb, not Ryan's betrayal, but my resilience. The laptop's glow lit my face, emails brimming with opportunity. I'd ignored Ryan's calls, his roses gone irrelevant now. Was I rewriting my story or reclaiming my true self? I stood by my window, rain tracing a path of clarity. I reviewed my director role's contract, each clause a victory. Mom's voice whispered, "You've earned this, Claire, own it." Ryan's world had tried to shrink me, but I refused. The rain's steady fall felt like a nod of approval. I felt isolated, but that solitude fueled my inner fire. I'd fought for my place, I wouldn't let it fade. Could I rise without dragging their secrets into light? I sipped my coffee, its warmth a badge of my strength. I toured a lakeview condo, its cedar shelves fresh, inviting. Rain fell outside, Seattle's city lights twinkling in dusk. The realtor's voice faded. I saw my future here. I signed the papers, my hand firm, heart racing with hope. Mom's voice echoed, "You've earned this, Claire, claim it." The condo's empty rooms felt like a clean new canvas. Could I build a home free of their lingering shadows? I clutched my bag, its leather worn but wholly mine. I packed my sketchbooks, their crinkled pages full of dreams. My Tacoma apartment felt smaller, a chapter nearing its close. Ryan's cedar jacket, still by the door, held no power. I donated it, its weight lifting from my weary shoulders. The rain's soft murmur embraced me, a quiet ally. I was ready to walk away, to choose my path. Is this justice, or am I going too far? If you were me, would you expose them or walk away? Emily's text lit my phone. Claire, can we talk? I sat in my Lakeview condo, rain whispering against the glass. The cedar shelves smelled fresh, my sketchbooks neatly arranged. Ryan's sister wanted to meet, but I owed them nothing. Mom's diner apron framed above my desk held my strength. Their betrayal had pushed me to this hard-won sanctuary. The coffee in my thrift store mug was warm, grounding me. Was I ready to face their world one last time? I chose a Seattle cafe, my heart-steeled steps deliberate. The espresso's rich scent mingled with rain's damp, cool trace. Emily sat across, her eyes wary, clutching a cold latte. Ryan's sorry, she said, her voice soft, almost pleading. I traced the wooden table's grain, its texture steady, familiar. His regret was empty, drowned by his silent betrayal. Could I listen without their past pulling me under? I sipped my coffee, its bitterness shielding my weary heart. Emily said Ryan had left their family firm, retreating. Patricia's control was slipping, her influence fading into shadows. I nodded, my chest, still, rain's rhythm calming my pulse. Mom's late night shifts, her calloused hands burned in me. I'd built this life free from their gilded, choking cage. The cafe's hum felt vibrant, unlike their sterile world. Was this closure, or just the end of their grip? I leaned back, my resolve as solid as the table's wood. I replayed the engagement party. Patricia's sneer slicing deep. Her floral perfume had choked me, Ryan's smirk a wound. Those moments now felt distant, powerless against my truth. I'd risen from their scorn stronger than they'd ever imagined. The coffee's warmth faded, but my clarity shone brighter. Emily's words stirred no guilt, only a quiet triumph. Could I let their past dissolve without needing remorse? I set my mug down, its chip a badge of endurance. I walked home, rain cooling my cheeks, city lights twinkling. My condo's cedar shelves glowed under soft golden lamps. I opened my laptop, its hum a steady, loyal companion. No emails from Patricia, no texts from Ryan, just silence. Their absence was my victory, carved through my choices. My sketchbooks held dreams I'd revived, bold, untainted. Did I need their regret to feel whole, truly free? I traced the mug's chip, mom's resilience anchoring me. I stood on my balcony, Seattle's skyline vast, alive. The rain's gentle patter felt like a cleansing, tender touch. Ryan's cedar jacket, donated, no longer lingered in memory. Patricia's sneer at the party was a powerless echo. I'd chosen my career, my space, my unshackled spirit. The city's hum below pulsed with my own rhythm. Was this the justice I'd sought, quiet yet unyielding? I breathed deeply, the air crisp, my heart unburdened. I thought of the gala where I'd felt small, invisible. Patricia's perfume, Ryan's silence, had once crushed my soul. Now those moments were shadows fading in my light. Mom's framed apron spoke of roots of my rise. I'd mentored women at work, their hopes echoing mine. My director role was earned, a testament to grit. Could I release their pain without losing my strength? I closed my eyes, rain's whisper sealing my hard-won peace. I sat at my desk, coffee cooling in my chipped mug. The cedar shelves held books, sketches, pieces of me. I'd stopped checking Ryan's texts, their absence a relief. Mom's voice echoed, "You're enough, Claire, always enough." I felt liberated, untethered from their wealth, their scorn. This closure was mine, not theirs to grant or steal. Was this freedom the truest justice I could claim? I opened my sketchbook, its pages a canvas for tomorrow. Emily's plea, Ryan's sorry, held no weight, no pull. I stood on my balcony, rain misting my skin softly. Seattle's lights sparkled, mapping my bold new chapter. Patricia's emails had stopped. Ryan's world was theirs alone. I'd crafted a life that didn't need their approval. The rain's rhythm slowed, a quiet hymn of victory. I wasn't fleeing. I'd stood tall, unshackled, whole. My heart swelled, each beat a vow to my worth. I thought of Mom's apron, her hands worn but fierce. Her diner shifts taught me to rise, not to break. I'd mentored others, passing on that same resilience. My condo felt like home, its cedar scent my own. The pain of their betrayal had forged a stronger Claire. I didn't need their remorse. I had my truth. Could I carry this freedom without looking back? I leaned on the railing Rain, a gentle ally. I walked inside, my sketchbook open lines, bold, fearless. The coffee's scent lingered, a quiet nod to my journey. Patricia's sneer, Ryan's smirk were ghosts powerless now. I'd built a legacy of my own brick by brick. The rain's soft murmur wrapped me in quiet triumph. I was free not because of them but despite them. My Lakeview condo's cedar shelves held my truth, not theirs. Rain tapped the windows, Seattle's hum a gentle companion. The thrift store mug steamed with coffee, its scent anchoring me. I was Claire, 39, freed from Ryan's sharp betrayal. Mom's framed diner apron hung above a beacon of grit. I'd walked away from their scorn, my soul unshackled. My sketchbooks lay open, bold lines sparking new dreams. Was this the life I was always destined to claim? I stood on my balcony, city lights twinkling below. The rain's cool mist soothed my skin, easing old wounds. Each light in Seattle's skyline marked my hard-won steps. I'd mentored women at work, their hopes mirroring mine. My director role was mine, forged through relentless struggle. Patricia's sneer, Ryan's silence were ghosts fading fast. Could I carry this freedom without their shadows trailing? I sipped my coffee, its warmth a quiet, fierce strength. I hosted a mentorship event, my office alive with voices. Coffee's rich aroma mingled with Rain's damp, fresh scent. I shared my rise, not betrayal, but my unbroken climb. A young woman thanked me, her eyes bright, voice trembling. I saw my younger self, hungry for worth, for place. The rain outside softened, a whisper of gentle support. Had I become the guide I'd needed years ago? I smiled, my heart swelling with deep, quiet purpose. I walked home, rain-soaked streets reflecting Seattle's glow. My condo felt like home, its cedar scent wholly mine. I drew in my sketchbook lines, bold, fearless, true. Each stroke was a vow to myself, my future. Mom's apron spoke of roots that never wavered. I turned pain into power, betrayal into resilience. Could I inspire others to rise from their own scars? I set my pencil down, Rain's rhythm my steady pulse. I stood on my balcony, Seattle's skyline, a radiant promise. Rain misted my face, cool, a nod to my journey. My condo's cedar shelves held my dreams, my truth. I'd found closure not in their regret but in me. Mom's framed apron hung nearby, a symbol of endurance. I was Claire, 39, shaped by my rise, not betrayal. The thrift store mug held coffee, its scent steadying me. Was this the legacy I'd leave for myself, for others? I walked inside, my sketchbook open lines, bold, fearless. The rain's soft patter wrapped me in quiet triumph. I'd mentored women, their stories weaving into mine. My director role was a crown earned through relentless grit. Patricia's sneer, Ryan's smirk were echoes now powerless. The city's hum pulsed below, alive with my purpose. Could I keep growing without their pain weighing me down? I sipped my coffee, its warmth a vow to my strength. I hosted another mentorship event, my office buzzing with hope. Coffee's rich aroma mingled with Rain's damp, fresh scent. I shared my climb, not the scars Ryan left behind. A young woman spoke, her voice, fierce eyes burning bright. She echoed Mom, her hands worn but unyielding strong. The rain outside slowed, a hymn of steady progress. Had I built a legacy to outlast my deepest pain? I smiled, my heart full, tethered to their dreams. I walked to work, Seattle's streets slick with morning rain. My office felt like home, its fluorescent hum vibrant. Client emails poured in, each one affirming my worth. I'd rebuilt my life from betrayal's ashes, brick by brick. Mom's late-night shifts taught me to rise, not bend. The cedar shelves in my condo held my story. Was this the freedom I'd fought so hard to claim? I leaned back, the mug's chip grounding my quiet pride. I thought of the engagement party where I'd felt erased. Patricia's floral perfume, Ryan's silence had broken me. Now those moments were shadows fading in my light. I'd mentored others, passing on Mom's fierce resilience. My sketchbooks held visions I'd make real, unafraid. The rain's rhythm was a lullaby for my soul. Could I inspire others to find their unshackled path? I traced the mug's edge, Mom's voice alive within me. I stood by my window, city lights sparkling below me. The rain's cool touch felt like a blessing, a release. I'd stopped wondering about Ryan, Patricia, their small world. My life was mine, shaped by choices, not their scorn. The sketchbook's crinkled pages held dreams I'd live fully. I felt lighter, the rain washing away my last doubts. Was this the healing I'd sought? Through every tear I closed my eyes, the city's hum my steady heartbeat. I sat at my desk, coffee cooling in my chipped mug. The cedar shelves held books, sketches, fragments of me. I'd turned betrayal into triumph, pain into quiet power. Mom's apron, her hands, her shifts lived in my strength. I'd built a legacy of courage, love, and fierce resolve. The rain's soft murmur sealed my journey, my peace. Have you rebuilt after betrayal? Share your story below. What's your legacy, your strength? Tell me your truth. I thought of Mom's diner, her apron stained with grease. Her lessons carried me through pain, doubt, and loss. I'd become the woman she'd always seen in me. My condo, my career, my mentorships, they were mine. The city lights glowed, a map of my freedom. I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving, whole, alive. Would you walk away to find your own truth? I smiled, my heart full, my soul at rest. I stood on my balcony, rain, a gentle final embrace. Seattle's skyline stretched before me, endless, full of hope. I'd forged a path through betrayal stronger than before. My legacy was not their approval but my own truth. The rain's whisper faded, leaving only my quiet joy. I was clear, unbroken, ready for whatever came next. Have you found your strength after pain? Share below. Your story matters, let's lift each other up. Subscribe to EN Reddit Story for more real stories of justice, healing, and empowerment.